Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. For those of you who followed me before, you're probably surprised to see my face, but I really wanted to show you guys what I look like. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could check out my page and follow if you like my content. The video you will see today is a little different from what you normally see on my page, but if you like electric skateboards or if you like to build stuff by yourself, it could be really interesting to you. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to build an electric skateboard that can go up to 40 miles per hour. I will also do an unboxing of the parts I've received from Flipsky.com. This video is going to be a two-part video, so in the first part of this video I'm going to show you guys how to set up all the hardware for your electric skateboard, and in the second part I'm going to show you how to set up the software. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. In the first part of this video I'm going to show you guys all the components you will need to build a high-power electric skateboard. I will also add a written list of all the parts in the description below. If you wonder what in the world all these parts are, don't worry. I will explain it in the second half of this video. Then I'm actually going to assemble all the components of the setup. The box you see right there contains more items you will need to complete your setup. I have actually just received all the parts in the mail when I started recording this video, so I'm going to show you guys what I've got. As you can see, everything is nice and protected with the bubble wrap, so no item gets damaged during transportation. When you build an electric skateboard, the first decision you should consider making is if you would like to build a dual or a single motor setup. A dual motor setup is more powerful and especially useful when you live in an area with many steep hills. You will also need twice of the setup, including hardware you will see in the video and a dual electric system control. If you don't need as much power or would like to save some money, a single motor setup is a great option. For a single motor setup, I would recommend a 6374 or 6384 motor with a kV rating between 200 and 100. These numbers simply mean that the bigger the number of the motor, the bigger they are in size and the more power they have. The kV rating gives you information about the speed and the torque of the motor. The higher the kV rating, the higher the speed and the lower the torque. So a number between 100 and 200 for the kV rating is ideal for an electric skateboard. I have decided for a dual motor setup, so I'll be preparing the dual ESC or electric system control you can see right here. Some other materials you will need to build an electric skateboard are soldering iron and soldering tin. Right now I'll add some female bullet connectors to the ESC to connect it to the motors later on. As you can see there are 6 cables at the end of your ESC that will ultimately connect to your motors. To attach the bullet connector, melt the soldering tin to fill the back of the bullet connectors halfway to the top. Make sure your soldering iron is nice and hot so that the heat can melt the tin. When you are tinning an object, it is recommended to melt some tin on the hot end of your soldering iron first. This way the tin can connect to the tin you are filling inside your connector and form a heat bridge. This means that once the hot tin on the tip of your iron touches the cold tin, it will heat up in a matter of seconds. The cables of the ESC by Flipsky are already tinned, so you'll only need to heat up the tin inside the bullet connector and let the end of the cable you would like to connect touch the heated tin. Then you should be able to easily push it into the connector. Then take away the soldering iron and keep some force on the cable until it has cooled down. After you have attached all 6 of the female bullet connectors, you can use some heat shrink to protect your connections. You should decide for is what wheels and tracks you would like to use. When you make this decision, it's good to consider the following question. Do you want to use your board solely to ride on streets or also off-road? If you would like to use your board to ride both terrains, the following setup would be great for you too. I'm using the 120mm cloud wheels, which are ideal for rides off-road and on the streets. Depending on the wheels you are getting, you will need different types of pulleys, and depending on the trucks you are getting, you will need different types of motor mounts. Right here I'm using the cloud wheel conversion kit and Flipsky's dual kingpin trucks with the fitting motor mount. This combination is great because you can literally follow these easy steps and assemble your wheels, trucks and mount your motor in less than an hour. The first step here is to attach the bearings to the wheels so that your board will roll smoothly. You can use a screwdriver to gently hammer the bearings into the wheels. When you assemble your wheels, trucks and motors, be sure to first mount the motor to the motor mounts and then attach the motor mount to the trucks. This is important because you will not be able to mount your motors in a different way. I actually made this mistake when I first took the first take of this video and I learned it the hard way that it's not possible. Also, you need to buy 8 and 4 screws that are 60mm long and use them to attach the motors to the motor mount. To attach the motors, simply align their holes with the holes of the motor mounts and use a wrench or screwdriver to tighten the screws. Again, for a single motor setup, you will only need one motor mount and one motor and wheel pulley. Pulleys on. To do so, you want to insert the keyway, so this little metal thing, into the pole that's coming out of the motor first. In my case, the wrong size keyway must have been accidentally delivered, so we had to send it down a little bit. Please don't do this at home, or at least take some more safety measures than we did. If you should get a wrong keywave, I'm sure Flipsky would replace it for you. Once you put your pulley on the motor, you can fix it with the 2 tiny screws that come with it. Next, you want to put on your wheel pulley and belt. If the belt doesn't fit on the pulleys right away, try to loosen the screws you have used to mount your motors and move the motors a tiny bit so that you can easily put the belt on. After, you want to tighten the belt by moving the motor back in the opposite direction. Someone might need to help you with that because it can be kind of hard to move the motors back while you tighten the screws. Next, I'm going to attach the cloud wheels to the pulley by sliding and pushing them onto the track. Make sure that the slots in the wheel are aligned with the pulley before you push it in. After, you can screw the hex nut back on the truck by using the skateboard wrench tool. Make sure everything sits tight and that the wheels and motor can rotate smoothly. A power switch is also very handy for your setup. I'm using an anti-park power switch by Flipsky. Right here I'm going to add some XT90 connectors to it so I can connect everything together. I've used XT90 connectors because it's easy to solder them onto the thick cables of the ESC. You will also need a battery pack to power your setup. Right here I'm using a 10S 4P battery with Samsung 30Q cells. I'm going to connect this battery to the power switch and then plug the power switch into the ESC. This kind of completes the circle. Then I'm going to plug the motors into the AC and also plug in the sensor cables. I've also mounted the motors to an old skateboard deck for the next step. Once you've connected all cables in the right way, you can test your setup by pushing the on button. That was it for today's video. If you liked that video, I would appreciate if you click that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video to show you how to set up the software.